One of my favorite lunches to have is egg roll in a bowl. There are several reasons why I like this one. First, there's almost no prep time involved in this. I choose to add a little bit of extra carrot to mine, so there's some shredding involved, but that's it. You don't have to. It's really just toss everything into a nice big frying pan and cook it all together. So that's a really great thing, just because you don't have to dirty up a cutting board, a knife, nothing like that. And then you can just take any of your leftovers and store them in your containers, and it's great for reheat. Usually when I make egg roll in a bowl, I get at least 3 or 4 lunches out of it. And then if everybody else wants to eat it as well, it'll be maybe 2 days. All right, we're turning our heat on to medium high, and I am gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan. This is avocado oil, but feel free to use whichever kind you prefer. And normally when we make this, we use ground pork, but today we're actually gonna be using ground chicken. Our grocery store has been out of ground pork for weeks. I don't know what the deal is. I'm adding a bag of coleslaw, and you can use whatever kind you would like. I've also done this with the broccoli slaw, which is really good. I always either use 2 bags or I shred up a carrot and add the extra carrot. I'll start to mix that. Let this start that saute. Okay, sometimes I will add a little more oil. Not much, just about a half teaspoon or so. You can also add minced garlic if you would like while you're sauteing your meat. I didn't do that this time. It was really just not thinking clearly. But I'm gonna add coconut aminos. And this, you end up adding quite a bit of this. I would say overall maybe several tablespoons. Now this is our replacement for soy sauce. So you can use soy sauce if that's your preference. This is a little sweeter than soy sauce. So if you're using coconut aminos, you may wanna add salt. If you are using soy sauce, you definitely will not need to add salt. Gonna let that saute in those coconut aminos, and it's going to start to wilt that cabbage in the coleslaw. And I just let this work for, I don't know, 5-7 minutes or so, and it's usually pretty good to go. You can put a lid on and move that process along if you'd like, and have that cabbage, all that heat stay in there. I actually like leaving the lid off so that some of the liquid can evaporate as that cabbage wilts. It's just a preference of mine, but I've done it both ways. I think it stays a little more crunchy, which I prefer. So I think it depends on what you prefer. Do you want it a little more crunchy or do you want it a little softer? All right, this is ready. So I'm gonna start serving it up. I am gonna add some parsley to the top just for a little more green. All the green in this really just kind of turns to a white for the most part once it cooks down. All right, so honestly, this is probably about a 20-minute meal. Might even be a little bit faster than that. Really, really easy to make and so quick to put together. It's really hot. I love the flavors here. And it's so unique because you really get the flavor of the inside of an egg roll. That's really what it is. I love that hint of cumin. Obviously, if you don't like the flavor of cumin, just omit that. But ginger, and we like a lot of ginger, that's great. I talked about it before, but if you're using coconut aminos, that is sweeter than soy sauce. So you're gonna have to balance out that salt mixture. If you're using coconut aminos, you probably wanna add a little bit of salt. If you're using soy sauce, you definitely don't need to add any salt at all. But I love the flavors of this one. I love the colors of this one. I love the reheat option of this one. So easy for lunches. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, we've made this with pork, chicken, and turkey, and all of them are great. I've actually never tried ground beef with this, but I don't see why you couldn't. I mean, you're just gonna get a different flavor meat, but the pork is amazing if you can find it. I don't know what the deal is with the ground pork lately. This chicken option was awesome too. Mornings can feel a little chaotic with everybody getting out the door, backpacks getting on, or everybody headed to work. The last thing you wanna do is be standing in your kitchen and wondering, what are we gonna have for breakfast? That's why I love having Daily Harvest on hand. I'm prepared and I don't have to think twice about it. Daily Harvest makes it easy to build a morning routine around healthy ingredients that you can trust. Daily Harvest food is grown, not engineered, only real fruits and veggies. And the best part is shipped directly to your door, frozen for a reason. It locks in the nutrients and the flavor at their peak. No wit, no guilt, no food waste. Starting my day with something real and nourishing feels like a little win. It's kind of like making your bed first thing. You've already checked off a healthy choice and it sets you up to make better ones all day long. And while I often reach for smoothies in the mornings, like this one right here, which is a protein smoothie that has 20 grams of protein in it, you guys know how I like to stack my mornings with a good amount of protein. These are also a great lunch option. For instance, my daughter actually prefers smoothies in the afternoon. So she'll have these as her lunch, and it is perfect because I know she's getting great ingredients and a good amount of protein. So if you want reliable nutrition that you can trust, check out Daily Harvest. Use the QR code on the screen or the link in my description box to get 15% off your first box of $100 or more using my code. Pasta salad is just one of those things that is never gonna go out of style for me. I also think that it is a great lunch option. So a lot of times we will come up with some sort of pasta salad recipe and add a protein that we love to it, like grilled chicken or pepperoni or Italian sausage, things like that. And it makes the perfect lunch because it's easy to take with you or just pull out of the refrigerator and put into a bowl. So good. We love pasta salad. We're gonna start with a creamy pasta salad. This one is so good. We are gonna start by making the dressing first. And the main reason that we're doing that is because I need to wait on my water to boil over here on the stove. I'm also waiting on the bacon to be done. So you guys know I pretty much pre-cook bacon on a weekly basis so that we have it ready to go. It's almost done, but let's just make the dressing that's gonna go with this first. I'm starting with about a 1/4 cup of mayo. We'll add this to the bowl. You could add a little less if you want, and also add Greek yogurt. If you want to make it a little less fattening, you could do that. That's a great substitution. We need to add some oil, about a tablespoon of oil. You guys know, feel free to measure. Apple cider vinegar, about a 1/2 tablespoon here, but add as much or as little as you like. It all depends what type of flavors you love the most. And then we need to add some sugar, just about a 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. I'm actually gonna go less than a 1/2 teaspoon, more actually closer to a 1/4 teaspoon, because you guys know I do not prefer sweet flavors, I prefer savory. So we're gonna make this a little more savory. Some salt. We need about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. Just about, you guys know, it's always about here. And then about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then just some black pepper to taste. Let's whisk all of this together. So like I said, this is a creamy pasta salad. This is not gonna be a thin Italian dressing style pasta salad. This is a thicker, it's a little more creamy. That's the best word. But yeah, you don't need to worry about it being a really thin dressing. I mean, you can see that's a thick dressing. That's what we're looking for here. Now I'm waiting on my water to boil. Let's set this to the side. Typically in this pasta salad, you use peas. If you've been here for a while, my husband does not like peas at all. He doesn't eat two things, peas and onions. Although, if you've been watching, he is warming up to green onion, chives, shallots, all that. Anyway, we are going to add green pepper in this for that pop of green. I might even add some red pepper too. Let's see what we have in there. And then we're gonna cut that up, dice it up nice and small, just like the size of the peas, and put that in the pasta salad. All right, so I'm out of red pepper, but I did have this orange one in there. So let's give these a wash and then use a little bit of that. Before we cut these up, the water is now boiling over on the stove. So I wanna take my pasta. This is 6 ounces because we're making a half recipe of this. We don't need the full, but you guys know I'll have it posted in the description box. If you ever have any questions about a recipe, always head below the video. You'll see a little section where it says, see more or click here, something to that effect. Click on that, it will expand the description box and everything is listed in there. The link to all the recipes that I use, the link to all the products that I use, all of that is in there. So don't miss an opportunity to grab those links. Now for these, I'm probably only gonna use about a quarter, maybe not even a quarter of these peppers. We'll put these away because I have another recipe that's gonna take some as well. I got groceries today, and normally before I get groceries, I try and organize our refrigerator, kind of like clean everything out, get rid of stuff that maybe is old leftovers or things that have expired. I didn't do that this time, and I just came home and started to put all the groceries away because I needed to get some filming done, like making this recipe, and I just opened my refrigerator and it is a complete disaster. I don't even know how we're gonna find anything in there. So once I get done with this, probably that's gonna be my next task. Okay, so after we cut these peppers, we can actually go straight into the dressing that we made. I remembered to sharpen my knife, so that's good. So much easier to use. This pasta salad that we're making is a vegetarian one, but this would be so delicious with grilled chicken in it. I mean, so good. Just cut up some strips of grilled chicken. I would keep them nice and thin, just based on the pasta and the size. But man, it would be really good with some grilled chicken. That's actually something that I really enjoy doing. I'll take several pieces of chicken out to the grill and grill them early in the week because we can have them for lunches. I can add it to pasta salad. If I get delayed during the day, I'm not able to make the dinner that we initially planned on, you have that already available. So you just go in there and you've already got it prepped. It is a great way to prep ahead and just be ready for the week. Okay, my peppers are cut. Now I'm gonna bring over some bacon, fresh right out of the oven. Oh, this isn't vegetarian. I said it was vegetarian and I totally forgot. Bacon is not vegetarian, okay? You could make this vegetarian, but this is not a vegetarian. All right, chop that up. You can really just break it up into the pasta if you want to. I don't know what I was thinking. I actually can't imagine that a vegetarian bacon would be very good, but I've never tried it, so I could be way off. So I'm gonna see what 3 pieces looks like. I pulled 4 over, and my pasta should be close to being done. We'll drain that off and then mix this. The last thing we're gonna add to really take this over the top is some Parmesan cheese. And I would just say add whatever amount you love. We're probably going with about a 1/4 cup. I mean, I could just finish that off, but we might, we'll see. Stir everything together. I mean, I love these colors. I do think that red bell pepper would be really stunning in here. You do have that kind of a red color from the bacon, which is fabulous. This right here, you can serve this right away. You can chill it in your refrigerator, make it ahead of time. If you know you're gonna be going somewhere tomorrow or the next day, you can do it that way. But y'all, this is so good, so delicious. You can also top this with some fresh parsley or thyme, just for that beautiful color added to the top. Love doing that. I mean, you guys see how incredibly delicious this looks. All those colors, flavors, those are my favorites. Okay, let's give this a try. Get a little bit of each thing, or I'll at least try. That was really good. The noodles are really cooked to perfection. They're not overdone. They're actually perfectly al dente, which is awesome. You get the saltiness from that bacon, but also there's a little bit of saltiness that comes from the mayo. And I mean, obviously the salt that we added, but you get that nice crunch from the green pepper and from the orange pepper that we put in there. I love the different textures here. And then I topped mine with a little bit of thyme, like you guys saw, because I mean, obviously I get it off the garden all the time and constantly top things with thyme. Always, we always have it available, which I love. But y'all, so good. That is so delicious. This is one of those meals where we make it when I don't want to dirty a bunch of dishes. I don't have a lot of time. We have ingredients that really need to get used up. We have a shredded rotisserie chicken, which makes it even easier and even faster. And also it reheats well. We are making this one pot lemony orzo chicken. I'm gonna add spinach in there for some color. I wonder if I should add in some red bell pepper. I wasn't planning on doing that, but let's add some red bell pepper just for that beautiful color. So let's just cut this up just a little bit. Just dice it up so we can add some color in there. I like something like this because you have that beautiful green color, but when we can add red to something, I feel like it just adds the most beautiful richness to the way it looks. Okay, super simple here. Okay, let's take everything that I've prepped here and move it over to the stovetop because everything's gonna happen over there. Super easy, really convenient meal. We're ready to go. As you can see, it's just a little bit of red pepper, but that's really all you need anyway. Okay, let's start off with some heat. I'm going like medium high and add a touch of oil. That's maybe a half teaspoon or so. I really don't use very much. And we're gonna get that heated before we add in our other ingredients. Add in the little bit of red pepper. You already hear that sizzle. Just a minute for that, just to let it start to soften up a bit. Again, my heat is still on. It's on a medium now. I did turn it down just a little bit. Now, obviously, while this is cooking up, onion is something you could add here. Shallot is something that you could add if you wanna add more things, if you wanna bulk this up. I would encourage you in a dish like this to basically add whatever kind of vegetables, spices, seasonings, all that kind of stuff that you love, because you can really bulk up a simple dish like this with add-ins. We have about 3 cloves of garlic. Toss that in. Stir a little bit here. I'm gonna add in a little bit of butter. This is about a tablespoon, and this is gonna be used in just a minute because we're gonna saute our orzo. Now, if you don't want to use orzo, can't find orzo, don't like orzo, you can absolutely use rice, or you can use any type of short pasta. So orzo is a pasta, but you can sub out for rice. It's gonna be a little bit different in its cooking time, and obviously the texture is a little different, but it's gonna give you the same basic type of meal. I've got about a half teaspoon of salt and about a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning here. Toss all that in. Y'all, this is gonna come together so fast. It already smells incredible. Incredible. Okay, I gotta move kind of quickly here. Let's add the orzo. I've got 1 cup of orzo that we're gonna add in. And basically the goal here is we wanna toast it up a little bit before we start to boil it or really cook the orzo. That toasting it just adds the best flavor. Okay, so this doesn't take long. You just want it to toast for maybe a minute or so. I have 2 cups of broth. Let's add that in. I've got 1 cup of heavy cream. Add that in. About 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. This is fresh squeezed because I actually ran out of my other lemon juice, but we had a lemon, which was perfect. So we'll add that. Okay, we are looking for this to come to a boil. A little bit of a bubble here. Doesn't have to be a full-blown boil. We're just gonna give it a couple minutes to reach those bubbles. And while that happens, I can go ahead and put this stuff in the dishwasher. All right, as you can see, we've got a nice boil here. I'm gonna turn this down to a medium/medium low, and I'm gonna put a timer on for 10 minutes. We're going to stir this occasionally, but we do want it to continue to simmer. So medium to medium low, but our sauce is gonna reduce a little bit. It's gonna cook that pasta to nice and al dente. It's gonna thicken up. It's gonna be so nice, but remember to stir. It's not a walk away, okay? 10 minutes, do your dishes, clean up, something in the living room. 10 minutes, but stick around. Okay, that is the 10-minute timer. As you can see, it's thickening up really nicely. I'm going all the way to low with my heat, and we need to add in our chicken. So let me go ahead and do that. I've already got some rotisserie chicken that I took off the bone, and we're just gonna take it, break it apart. You need about 2 cups overall. Okay, let's stir that in. I'll see what it looks like if I feel like it needs a little more. Yeah, let's add a little more. I definitely want this to be protein heavy because this chicken is nice and lean. I'm using a lot of white meat. I am using some dark meat too, but there's a lot of white meat in here. And so, and with all the heavy cream and stuff, this is a higher fat content. So I wanna make sure we've got good lean protein to balance all of that out. Plus, it will serve more with more chicken in there. Stir that in. Oh yeah, that's a good amount. Obviously, this next part is optional, but I'm gonna add in some spinach. We love that green color. You can add spinach, broccoli, green peppers, whatever it is that you love. I'm just gonna tear it a little bit. Okay, just a few handfuls. I'm not really measuring. The spinach needs to get used. I bought it for another recipe and ended up not making that recipe just because I think I was missing one of the other key ingredients. So now we needed to use this. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Obviously the spinach is gonna wilt down to, you know, basically nothing because that's how spinach works. But let's check it and see where we are. It's looking good. Kind of wish I had added a little more red pepper because with that small amount that I added, it's not super visible. We'll see. We'll see once this wilts down a little bit. Okay, I think that's a good amount. I actually really like that amount. I've got some freshly shredded Parmesan cheese here. Let's add just a bit. I'm gonna do maybe a half cup or so, but I do wanna leave some for serving over the top. I believe this is the right lid. Yes, we're gonna put a lid on here and I'm turning my heat to off. We're gonna put a lid on for about 3 to 5 minutes, just let the spinach wilt and everything come together. It's a lemon orzo, like 1 pot, rotisserie chicken, spinach. I thought it was gonna be too lemony at first, but then when I tasted it, I didn't think it was too lemony at all. And I actually kind of wish maybe there was a little more lemon, but really? Yeah, it's really good. I think it's really
like
good.
My spinach.
I know you do.
And orzo. Man, this looks good. What's the red? That just like tomatoes,
red pepper.
cherry tomatoes? Oh.
Red pepper.
Okay.
It's good, right? It's a good one. You should try this one.
That was awesome.
Like I said before, he's still snacking behind me. We've got the chicken, orzo, lemon, heavy cream, chicken stock, it's bone broth, but such good flavors. And it's not, I didn't know where you went. It's not overpowering at all with the lemon. I think it could use a little more lemon. He actually said he doesn't think it needs more lemon at all. But it's very good. It feels, it's a pasta and it's heavy in a way. Yeah. It feels hearty and heavy, but because of the lemon, it makes it feel like summery and vibrant. This is a sweeter chicken salad, which you might be surprised that I absolutely love, okay? So I'm gonna take some grapes, and I never measure these. I just always kind of do them by sight. I've got 2 chicken breasts here in this bowl. And actually, let's pre-shred this again, just a little bit before we cut up the grapes. If you've been here for a while, then you already know that my deep love of chicken salad started, I think I was 12 when a family member bought a bagel shop / deli. So I started working there very early on and worked there through high school. I don't think I did in college at all. I think they had sold it by then. But we had deli sandwiches, bagels, you know, all that kind of stuff. And chicken salad was one of them. Now, this was not a recipe that they had. This was one that I had early in my 20s. And I was like, wow, I really like that. I was surprised because you guys know I'm not a fan of sweet things. I'm a fan of savory things. But there's something about this one that is just so good. So I'm gonna make that one in this video. And let me tell you, I'm sure there are different variations, but the way that we make it is crazy easy. So I'm adding as many grapes as I want. I look in there and I look at it and I think, is that enough grapes? If it's not, I just keep adding. We've got the 2 chicken breasts. I'm gonna add in some Greek yogurt because that's what we always do. We still add mayo. We just like a little bit of Greek yogurt to lessen the fat content. Always Duke's, and we love the one with olive oil. So let's add, it's really just a few tablespoons based on what we have in here. And then walnuts. And because I want this to be super easy, I go ahead and just buy the pieces. And then I put in however much I think we're gonna like. That's probably a little more than a 1/4 cup. Okay, then we just pull all of it together. Y'all, that's literally it. It's the easiest chicken salad on planet Earth. You can add salt and pepper as well. Let me taste it and see if it needs it. It needs a little bit of salt. Just a touch of salt. I mean, it can't be easier than this. It's crazy. It's crazy how easy it is. If you need to take a picnic lunch or you're going to the beach or something like that, if you want to take lunch with you, I feel like this one travels so well, and it lasts for several days in the refrigerator, which is awesome. I mean, we just had that for several days.
Yeah, okay.
I do some Greek yogurt with mayonnaise to make it less fattening, to add more, to make it more saucy. I don't know what the right word is there.
I know.
But just to cut down on the fat content.
Yeah. Have more kind of liquid in it, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I prefer that.
Yeah. I made these hot honey beef bowls. We're gonna make them for lunch today. They make a great lunch or dinner option, but do not skip these because seriously, they're delicious. All right, so I am gonna be adding to this recipe. The first thing I'm gonna start with is making some pickled red onions. You can completely skip this, but I do feel like you've got this hot honey, which gives this element of sweet. You've got the beef and the sweet potato, which are giving the savory. And then just by adding that pickled onion, you're adding that additional flavor to this, and I just think it's gonna take it over the top. Pickled onions are really easy to make, so we're gonna start with that so that they can kind of be in the brine for a little while everything else is working. I'm gonna start by slicing my red onion pretty thin. I could use my mandolin, but I'm still a little scared. So I'm just gonna use this. I'm also gonna do the same thing with some cucumber, essentially making somewhat like pickles. Pickles really need to be in the brine for longer than this, so it's not gonna be a complete pickle, you know, but I do think that it'll be good. And actually, I'm just gonna put them in the same thing because I'm gonna eat all of this. Well, let's make them separately. That way we can divide it all out and it'll look really pretty. But I've got cucumber that needs to be used, so we'll do that. Okay, this one I'm gonna slice, or I'm gonna chop a little bit thicker because I'm not quite as concerned about it becoming, you know, like a complete pickle. So just a tad thicker, not too much. And again, this is a step that you can completely skip. I'll tell you, the base of the bowl here is beef, sweet potato, and cottage cheese. If that is all that you wanna put in your bowl, that is completely fine. This is just, I mean, we like the extra. We like these other elements and we have the time to make it. So if you wanna make this a super quick thing, then I would skip some of these other steps. I need to get my water running because it has to be hot water. In fact, your best option is to take it over the stovetop and boil it. I'm actually just gonna make mine in a little measuring glass and we're just gonna heat it up in the microwave. But I like to start with hot water. All right, just about a cup of, well, even less actually. I'm gonna go like half of a cup of white vinegar because we don't need all that much. Same with water, about a half cup of water. But again, make as much of this as you want. Make a ton of it if you want to. Okay, we need a few teaspoons of salt and then a good pinch. That's sugar. That was sugar. And then a good pinch of salt. So like near a tablespoon. Now, these are quick, but other optional things you could add in here are red pepper flakes if you want to make them a little bit spicy. You could add in garlic cloves if you want that really garlic infused flavor. We're just, like I said, really simple. I'm gonna heat this up in the microwave, make sure that everything dissolves, and then we'll pour it into the containers here and just let it kind of pickle. It's definitely gonna pickle the onions. It's not gonna quite pickle the cucumbers, but it'll be a little bit. Okay, this was microwaved for about a minute. I'm gonna see if everything dissolves. Ideally, you wanna let this cool just a little bit before you pour it over the pickles and the onions. I'm just hoping that stirring it is gonna cool it enough that I can just move on with this and do the rest of the recipe. It is 11:15 and we normally eat lunch 12:15, so I really have plenty of time. Oh yeah, everything's dissolved. Let's take this and pour it into here, into both of these. Okay, why? So the onions, you know that they're ready to go when they turn this really vibrant, bright pink, and they shouldn't take very long at all. All right, I'm gonna let that sit out for just a minute so that it's not too hot when I put the lid on, but then we will put it in the refrigerator just so they can sit in there. I mean, they don't even have to be refrigerated, honestly, and we're gonna be putting it on hot food, so maybe I'll just leave them out and then we'll refrigerate them if there's anything left. Okay, moving on. The next thing that I like to do is go ahead and pull my cottage cheese out of the refrigerator and put whatever amount I think that we're gonna need into a bowl and let it sit out and kind of come to room temperature. You can absolutely put this on the bowl straight from the refrigerator. I do think that with the ground beef and with the hot sweet potatoes, everything else that's a warm temperature or a hot temperature, it's better if it's a little bit more at room temperature. So I just take that out. That's probably a half cup. I do about a 1/4 cup per bowl. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is make the sweet potatoes, and this time I'm gonna make them in the air fryer. If you use the oven, you roast the potatoes at 400 for about 20 minutes or so. I think I flipped halfway through, but we're just gonna use the air fryer this time. Try it out. See if it's any different. So I'm gonna get that ready to go. And then I've got some sweet potatoes over here that we will start to peel. Cut these into bite-sized pieces, bite-size-ish. This is gonna be more sweet potatoes than we will probably need, but that's okay. I'll just store them because they'll last. I'm gonna spray these. You can toss them in oil if that's your preference, but let's put some garlic powder and some onion powder. I'm gonna add some pepper, some paprika, and salt. Okay, now just toss these a little bit in that flavor, so you can get tongs out or something like that if you want. But this is my kitchen and you know, we're making it really simple. Okay, so we just spread these out in the air fryer basket. I'm gonna go 400. I'll probably start at 5 minutes or so, flip them, see what we look like here. I'm actually not 100% sure how long these are gonna take in the air fryer, so we'll check them and I'll end up letting you know. The base of the bowl, we've already done 2 things here. We've got the cottage cheese out, we've got the sweet potatoes that we're gonna roast, and now we're gonna take care of that beef. I completely forgot about an ingredient. We have to make the hot honey. And obviously this is something that you can buy. At Mike's, I believe, makes a hot honey already. There's probably several brands that already have a hot honey ready to go, but we're just gonna make it because we always have all the ingredients. All of this depends on how much spice you want. So I'm just making a small amount here. This is probably gonna be 2 or 3 tablespoons of hot honey, but this is all that we need. That's actually more than we need, to be honest. I'm gonna toss in just a little bit of red pepper flakes, but it all depends, like I said, on how hot you want this to be. We've got some cayenne pepper. Toss that in, make it as spicy as you want. And then literally a touch maybe half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Stir this together and you just wanna let it sit to the side, okay? This is just all those spices are gonna infuse that honey and it's gonna be really delicious. The more time you give this to just sit, the better. Honestly, you can make it well in advance, days in advance if you want to. I need to make the beef that's gonna go with them. And here's your quick way, okay? Saute up some beef, throw in some taco seasoning. I never have taco seasoning in our house. But we always have the ingredients that go in taco seasoning. So that's what we're gonna use. I'll walk you through it. Really simple, I promise. Not complicated at all. Okay, we're using an 85/15 ground beef, so I'm not adding any oil or anything to the pan. The other day when I made this, the only thing I added at this point was a little bit of salt to the beef, and then I added all of my other spices and herbs later. So I'm gonna try that again. It seemed to work really well. If you look up this recipe online, you are going to find many people use avocado instead of cucumber, and that is a great option, 100%. I am not using avocado today for 2 reasons. First of all, I'd have to go to the grocery store. Second of all, the avocado, although it is a very healthy fat, does add another layer of fat to this meal, and I already know what we're having for dinner tonight, which is a little more fat heavy, so I'm cutting down on that in this particular bowl, but it's very good with avocado in it too, okay? The cucumber is gonna add cucumber, pickles, you know, ish. It's gonna add an element of crunch that's really fun. Looking here, my onions are turning that really beautiful pink shade. No idea how well the pickles are gonna be done by this point. I just restarted the air fryer and now the sweet potatoes have been in for 11 minutes. I'm gonna shake them, check them, and see if they need any more. That might be it. Oh yeah, those are done. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave them in there so they stay warm. Okay, let me turn this down a bit, and I'm gonna pull out any of the fat, water, all the things. We're just gonna drain it. Okay, now this might seem counterintuitive because I just pulled out all that liquid, but just hang with me for a second. Okay, this is how I did it the other day. Take just the smallest bit of flour. Okay, so this is maybe a tablespoon overall. Stir that together. You don't have to do this part. This is just kind of making the beef like a little saucy, and that's what we're going for here. You can totally skip this and just have ground beef. I'm gonna add a little bit of bone broth, and that's gonna help make a sauce, so 2 tablespoons maybe, which is really not very much at all. On a medium-high heat right now. Now we need to add in all of our other stuff, okay? So I'm gonna add a touch of pepper, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, some onion powder. This one we're going for at least a 1/2 teaspoon. Same with garlic powder. I love adding chili powder here. Really good flavor. This one's probably closer to a teaspoon. Now some paprika. And this one is really just a preference for me, but I love cumin in here. Now, ideally we would have some cilantro for these bowls. However, my cilantro is not looking great, but I do think it would be really good in here. Okay, at this point, we're really just keeping it warm until we're ready to eat. So I turned my heat to low. Look how fast this is. I mean, wow, minutes. Here is how we plate. So you start with your base of sweet potato and the beef. I'm gonna go cottage cheese pretty much right in the center. Add some of these cucumbers. Could be avocado here instead if that's your preference. I'm gonna go pickled onions. I don't think my husband will. Sometimes he surprises me though, y'all. It's so good. I mean, it's just so good. And I'm even adding more layers this time than I did last time. I did find some cilantro, so just do a little touch. Now, personally, I think hitting it with a little bit of black pepper or Italian seasoning grinder, something like that, looks so pretty. And then to top it all off, that hot honey. You're gonna focus on the cottage cheese and the sweet potatoes, but you can put this hot honey all over because it is so good. Okay, while he's making his helping, he's not putting the red onion on his. One of the great things about this, I mean, obviously it looks so beautiful with all of these colors and it tastes amazing, but it is super high in protein because you've got the sweet potatoes that are just so good for you, those root vegetables, high in protein cottage cheese, high in protein ground beef. I mean, this is a great, great meal if you're looking to increase your protein. And even the carbs that are in here are all great carbs. They're good carbs for you. Okay, let me just get a bite here with all the elements. I think it's better this time because of the pickled aspect that we didn't have last time. Avocado, like I said, it's so good in this, but it does add another fat. And since our ground beef is a little fattier this time, I opted for the cucumbers instead.
Did we have both before? It was avocado instead of cucumber. Yeah, that's good. That's a good swap.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
But this is good with that. Just, I don't know, it adds that other flavor with the pickled.
Yes.
And I just think that's so good. So obviously you mix all this together and it doesn't look quite as beautiful once you mix it together, but it still tastes just as good.
Right. Well, the pickled, because of the honey, adds that tartness to balance it out.
Yep. So this, to me, this bowl has all the flavors that you want to have. Salty, there's a little bit of sweet from the red onion. Well, you don't have the sweet, but you have the honey. Salty, sweet, savory. I mean, you have, all right, you're gonna do it. Nice. You have everything that you're looking for in this bowl and it is very, very good. It is viral for a reason. Highly suggest trying it. This is our second time this week eating this bowl.
Yeah, and this dish you could actually make for a week.
Yes, I was just about to say
for your
that.
lunches because it would store well. All these elements would store well.
Yep. So, I mean, we don't have that many leftover sweet potatoes, but we've got leftover beef, so I can easily make more sweet potatoes. Everything else, a lid just pops on those containers, it goes in the fridge, and then when you're ready to eat lunch tomorrow, you pull out all the elements and heat and reheat it.
Yep.
Super simple, but very good. Y'all need to try this one. Our verse today comes from John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new here, I'd love if you would subscribe and stick around. You're gonna get even more recipes just like this. Highly suggest that you also check out this video that I've got linked right here above because it is delicious and you're gonna love it. Have a great week.